Yeah, so kindly check it now. The recording is started now. Recording part is started now. Kailuli
Yes,
ma'am.
sir. Now only it started, sir. MOC
Yeah.
team, will you please start the session? MOC team.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning to one and all present here. I request Dr. M. Ko Ilango to take over the section and enlighten us with his lecture.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Let me start the session. Before that, I would like to share my screen. Just a minute. Yeah, my screen is visible. Kindly reply me. Hello. My screen is
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
visible.
sir.
It is visible, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Uh, Yeah, good morning to one and all person over here. This is Dr. Ilango, Professor and Head Department of EEE KS Rangasamy College of Technology. I'm so happy to deliver my second lecture in Atal FDP program. Today we will discuss about that charging technologies in electric vehicles. In my presentation, the following content I would like to share with all the participants. The first one, charging schemes and what are the charging algorithms available for batteries, those who are using in electric vehicles, and medium of charge transfer and electric vehicles to vehicle to grid, P2X system framework, and IoT in electric vehicle. These are all the contents I would like to share in my today's presentation. Yeah. The first category of charging scheme, based on the charging operations, the charging scheme has to be classified into the following four categories. So we will discuss one by one. The first category is normal charging. Actually, when we look at the battery charging, it's the main headache for every user. Even nowadays, most of the people we are not using the electric vehicles nowadays, but everyone we are using cell phone, right? The main headache in cell phone is battery charging, right? How much time period we are going to allocate to charge the mobile phone is the main headache for each and everyone, right? See, based on these drawbacks, the charging scheme has to be classified into the following categories. We will discuss one by one. The first category is normal charging, right? See, in normal charging, as usual, normal single phase AC supply is going to be used to charge the batteries just like our mobile phone. And when we look at the ratings of battery charging under the normal charging scheme is 110 to 240 volt variations, right? It will be 110 to 240 volt, that's enough for that. And the current taken from the power source is 13 to 20 ampere, right? And the power consumption is only 2 to 4 kilowatts, right? So under this category for normal charging, normally it will take 5 to 8 hours to make it a full charging of the battery, right? Here in that cases, when we look at what are the advantages for this case is no burden to the power systems, because actually the power system has to be affected by means of power demands, right? See, normally when we taken the power ratings of 2 to 4 kilowatts from the power system, from the power sources, it is not going to be the burden, right? See, instead of that, if you had to get a very higher amount of electrical power, suddenly it may be a burden to the power systems, right? See, causing that burden, there may be a chances for getting loss of reactive power, and even transient switching, transient, everything are going to be happen, right? But in the case of normal charging, because of very low amount of power has to be retrieved from the power sources, there won't be any burden in the power systems, right? And when we look at the limitations of this normal charging, is it will take long charging time period, right? See, it depends on this battery capacity, battery storage capacity, that the charging time is to be varied, right? See, formally in that scheme, normal charging scheme, it will always has to take 5 to 8 hours to full charges, right? See, when we have just we had to consider, with the help of electric vehicle, if you had to travel more than 200 kilometer or 300 kilometer and all, we are not going to wait for more than 5 hours or 6 hours for charging, right? So this is the limitations of these cases. It will take a longer charge time period for this case, right? See why? Because of a longer charging time period, because it will not take on much current from the power sources, right? It will take only 13 to 20 amperes of current from the power sources. That's why it will take a longer charging time, right? And unacceptable for continuous vehicle operations. When we look at, just now I told you that when the vehicle is going to travel for more than 200 or 300 kilometer, as a traveler, we are not going to wait for 5 hours or more than 5 hours for charging the batteries and all, right? So for this case, normal charging scheme is not going to be acceptable for the vehicle, those who are running for longer continuous operations, right? So then the second category is opportunity charging, right? From the name itself, we can get the explanations about the charging scheme. Whenever the opportunity is opportunity arrives, we can charging the cases, right? See, for this opportunity charging, normally they are using three-phase AC supply, and when we look at the power ratings, 110 to 240 volt, just like same that of normal charging scheme, it is also using the same voltages, but the current arrived from the power sources is varied. It is not like 13 to 20 amperes and all. It will take 30 to 80 ampere from the power sources, and the power consumptions of this opportunity charging is 8 to 20 kilowatts, right? So because of this very higher ratings, automatically duration of charging is better, and it is also no burden on the power systems. Again, it is not going to be the burden on power system, right? When we have to retrieve very higher amount of current, like 200 ampere, 250 ampere, it may be a burden. But for these cases, opportunity charging, it won't be any burden on power systems, just like a normal charging schemes, right? Why? Because of these higher ratings of current, the charging time is lesser than the normal charging cases, and that opportunity charging has to be placed at any public car parking. Whenever we have to park our vehicle in the parking area, they can fix it, right? So whenever we have opportunity, we will charging the cases, right? So this is the second category of charging scheme, opportunity charging. Okay, then the third category is fast charging. Normally in fast charging, instead of AC supply, they are using DC supply, and the voltage of DC supply source is 200 to 450 volt they are using, and the current rating is 80 to 200 ampere, right? And the power consumptions of this fast charging is 36 to 90 kilowatts power has to be retrieved from the power sources. Again, we have to convert AC power supply into AC sources into DC sources with appropriate power converter devices, right? Because of these very higher ratings of current, the charging time has to be reduced from hour to minutes, right? So normally 20 to 30 minutes only has to be taken to charge 80% of the batteries, right? So this is the main advantage of the fast charging. Nowadays, everyone, we are moving in a fast moving technology. We are not going to wait for more than hour. Even 20 minutes, 30 minutes itself, it's not going. It is not going to be the acceptable one, right? See, as soon as possible, immediate, some within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we are going to charge it. Just you have to consider, if you had to wait for 20 minutes or 30 minutes for charging the battery in any charging stations, it is not going to be the tolerable one, right? Just you have to imagine, if you have to travel our vehicle and if you have to wait for more than 10 minutes in petrol bunk, just you have to think it yourself how you have to react on this waiting period, right? See, even 20 to 30 minutes also not going to be acceptable, but for fast charging, it will take 20 to 30 minutes to charge 80% of battery capacity. Normally, the ratings of current increases, it reduces the charging time period, right? And when we look at the drawbacks of fast charging cases, it will have a burden on the power systems, right? See, why it have a burden? Because it uses very higher ratings of the current, like 80 to 200 ampere. In addition with that, we are in a position to convert AC sources into DC sources. Nowadays, HVDC system come into picture, but at a stretch, most of them, like even we can say that even more than 95% of sources, we are using AC, right? So we are in a position to convert AC to DC. So again, here in that conversion AC to DC, some power loss is going to be happen. Again, reactive power compensations, we had to do it. And again, with the retrieval of 80 to 200 ampere current means, again it's going to be the burden, right? See, we are not going to maintain the power demand. So in power systems area, it will have some of the burden, right? And again, the drawback of this case is it need a dedicated hardware and safety precautions. Why? Because we are using DC supply. Again, just now I told you that AC supply is going to be converted into DC supply, and for that it required dedicated hardware systems. And again, safety precautions, we had to do it because it uses more than 150 160 ampere and all, and again it is a DC, so we had to do some of the precautionary actions for applying fast charging stations in electric vehicles, right? Then the fourth category is battery swapping. What is battery swapping? It swaps the discharged and charged batteries, right? See, normally in our household appliances, we are using LPG cylinder, right? See, LPG cylinder for cooking purpose, right? Whenever the LPG cylinder is empty, we have to just replace it with a full capacity of a LPG cylinder in our domestic appliances, right? So just like that, just we have to swap the discharged batteries with the charged batteries, right? Swaps the discharged batteries with the charged batteries. For these cases, we are not going to wait for longer time period to charging the battery, right? See, already charged batteries are available in some of the charging stations. Just we have to swap it, right? Or in addition with that, if you have to if a charged battery is available in our car, in our electric vehicle too, just we have to swap it, right? See, within 5 minutes just we have to replace with a empty one, discharged battery with a charged battery, so that the time required for charging the battery is going to be minimized. Only the time we have to calculate how much we needed to transfer, exchange, right? Swapping the discharged with the charged batteries, right? See, normally less than 5 minutes, it can swap the batteries, right? And we look at the advantages of these cases. It won't be any burden on the power systems. It won't be any burden on the power system. See, just like normal charging stations, we are going to charging the empty batteries, that is discharged batteries. By the way, we have to get it, right? So only that, only the only we have to exchange the discharged batteries with the charged batteries. It won't be take any much amount of a time period, right? And when we look at the limitations of these battery swapping schemes, here the problem of standardization of batteries in all electric vehicles, right? See, when we look at the normal cases like LPG cylinder, that LPG cylinder size and what is the structure, everything's are identical, right? If I had to go for Indian gas or HP, Hindustan Petroleum or Bharat gas, everything, every cylinder shape is same, and even size of the cylinder is same, weight of the cylinder is same, everything's are identical. Only with identical LPG cylinder, we are going to replace with a discharged one, right? Just like that, here when we go for battery swapping, that identical batteries also must be going to use it, right? So we are going to swap the discharged batteries with the charged batteries only with the identical battery. Suppose if the battery size is not going to be the same, what is this? We are not going to place it in our electric vehicles, right? See, again, one more problem is that the same size of batteries and same ratings of batteries are not going to be used for all the vehicles, right? See, just like LPG cylinder, the same size of cylinder, identical cylinder, are going to be used for all the household appliances, even commercial applications too. We can use it, but when we look at the electric vehicles, it is not going to be used, right? See, some of the electric vehicles actually the accelerating power is somewhat higher than the normal locomotive vehicles and all, right? See, normal like passenger vehicle, it requires small ratings of batteries compared with that of some longer truck and all, right? See, some trucks they need a huge amount of ratings, a huge amount of electrical power they are going to retrieve from the battery. So in that situation, we have to maintain, if all identical batteries are going to be used, it is very easy to swapping the batteries, unless otherwise it is somewhat it is quite a difficulty to exchange it, right? Unless we had to do some more standardizations, right? See, for example, electric trucks and all, we are going to use some sizes and some ratings of batteries that is not going to be used for a normal passenger vehicle or even two-wheeler vehicles and all, right? So based on this, we are going to do some of the standardizations in all the electric, all the batteries which are going to be used in electric vehicles, right? See, then one more limitations of this battery swapping is it need a larger area to conduct a battery swapping, right? See, just like petrol bunk, that just like charging stations, for these charging stations it is not going to be required much amount of area, but when we have to replace it, what is this, we have to place the particular battery, and we are going to charging the discharged batteries in a single places. So here in that cases, it requires a very larger area. Just you have to imagine the city like Bombay, Mumbai, Kolkata, and Chennai and all. If it requires some what is this, half acres of spaces, means it is quite difficult to do it, right? See, these are all the some of the limitations of battery swapping cases. Okay, so far we discussed the four types of charging schemes. They are normal charging scheme, opportunity charging scheme, fast charging scheme, battery swapping schemes, right? And when we look at the charging algorithm has to satisfy the following four things. The first one, it improve the charging efficiency, right? improve the charging efficiency means we are not going to lose any power losses, right? And the second one, it reduces the charging time. As a owner of electric vehicle or as a passenger of electric vehicle, we are always think that at a quick time period our particular battery is going to be charged, right? So the charging time is going to be reduced up. And the third category, it enhances the battery life. Again, one more thing, right? See, if continuously the particular battery is going to be charged, what is this? The life of the battery is also going to be considered that, right? See, what is the usage of the battery, how long the particular battery is going to be recharged, and or even maybe a swap. We have to think it, right? Enhance the battery life. And the fourth category, protect the battery, right? So these four cases we are going to consider while we have to implement the charging algorithms, right? See, by optimizations we are going to do it, right? See, normally when we have to reduce the charging time, automatically, just now I told you that the operating current is to be increased, right? See, if you have to use a very higher amount of current, automatically power loss is going to be occur. That's why in power system transmission lines and all, they are using a very higher voltages and less amount of current, right? Normally when all power system engineer knows well, normally when we have to transmit the electrical power, what is this? At generating stations, the voltage is to be improved with the help of some step up transformer, and at receiving end side we are going to step down the voltages, right? See, when we have to consider the transmission line, the transmission line carries a very huge amount of voltages like 110 kilovolt and all, right? But when we consider the current is not going to be higher. Why? Because we are going to minimize the losses, right? See, if and we know the fundamental formula for the losses. The losses is I squared R losses, right? See, if current 5 ampere current is flowing, I squared R loss is going to be there, right? R is the constant. So in the same situations, the 5 ampere is going to be reduced to 2.5 ampere. Automatically, I squared R loss is going to be reduced. But in this case of charging algorithm, when we reduce the charging time, the charging current is to be increased. If charging current is increased, automatically what is this? Power loss is going to be increases. But if power loss increases, that is not going to be satisfy the first category, improve the charging efficiency, right? See, if you have to improve the charging efficiency, the charging performance is to be improved, right? That should be more than 95%, 98% and all, right? See, if you have to produce more amount of losses, it is not going to be the efficiency one, right? So each and everything are correlated with that. If you have to reduce the charging time, automatically charging efficiency is not going to be made out, right? And continuous charging is happen. And again, if you have to reduce charging time by increasing the charging current, automatically it enhances the battery life, right? See, when we look at the battery, that has to be charged for a continuous current. That should not be very higher amount of current. If you have to charge for very higher ratings of current, automatically it reduces the battery life, right? So battery life is also going to be affected when we have to use very higher ratings of charging current, right? See, again, protect the battery. It's also going to be the cases when we look at the charging algorithm, right? So if I had to write an algorithm with any kinds of techniques like artificial intelligence or whatever may be that, we have to consider those categories. Hello.
आपका 101 है इसलिए ऑल करेंगे.
Hello, I received some noises from participants. Coordinator, kindly mute participant. Hello. Am I audible? Am I audible right now, coordinators?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please continue.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, then when we go for the charging algorithm, the first case is a constant current charging. Simply we have to say that CC, right? See, from the name itself, again we can arrive the explanations for constant current charging. Here, the charging current is always constant from starting to end, right? See, starting means at 0% of charging to full 100% of charging, we are going to maintain the constant current, right? See, we have plenty of power electronic devices and power electronic control circuits. We have to maintain the constant current, right? The constant current is going to be allowed to the batteries with the help of the constant current. What is this? The battery is going to be charges, right? See, when we look at the advantages of this case is, what is that? It is not going to be the burden on the batteries, right? See, instead of applying very higher ratings of current, if you had to apply the constant current to the batteries, what is this? We can ensure the lifetime period of a particular battery, right? See, in this in my slide, left hand side, I shown the graph for the constant current charging algorithm. See, x-axis it shows the charging time period, and y-axis it shows the battery voltages and charging current, right? See, charging current indicates in red color line, and battery voltages shown in green color in line, right? See here, the battery voltages may be varied, right? Sometimes it may be low, sometimes it may be higher, but the charging current which flows through the particular battery is going to be maintained as the constant one with the help of any of the power electronic control circuits. See, this is the first category of charging algorithm, constant current charging. And the second one is constant voltage charging. Constant voltage charging. Here, instead of maintaining the current, what is this? We are maintaining the voltage. Voltage is going to be maintained, and we know that current I proportional to 1 by T, where T is the charging time period, right? See, if time period is reduces, it increases the charging current, right? See, when charging current reduces, automatically it increases the time duration of a battery, right? See, again, it is also going to be used, depends on the customers, depends on the requirement, we can use it, right? See here, in that cases, again, what is this? We are maintaining the battery voltage as the constant one, but charging current is initially at the time of 0% of battery charging, the current is higher, right? When we had to charging the particular battery, the charging current is going to be reduces and it will be charged, right? Actually, this is the procedure we are using in even our mobile phones and all, right? When we look at the mobile phones, you may observe, right? See, normally, if I had to empty the full capacity of a battery in mobile phone, and when we consider even today also, you had to observe, examine the mobile phones, right? Just you had to empty the full capacity of the battery, and if just you had to plug in the particular mobile, right? See, for normally for first 5% or first 10%, easily it will be charged, right? The mobile phone is quickly charged, quickly attained some 5% or up to 10% of batteries, right? So it depends on the battery manufacturer and the charging charger, it may vary, right? See, within 10%, quickly it will be charged, right? See, after the 10%, the time duration is somewhat prolonged, right? It should not be the same time period for 0 to 10, 10 to 25, 25 to 50 and all, right? See, normally even some 90 to 100%, it will take very longer period to charging the particular battery. Why? Because during the 90 to 100%, they are not going to apply the same amount of current, right? Normally, the lesser amount of current only given to the particular battery. In order to enhance the battery life period, they had to do the control actions like this, right? See, they are not going to charge with the help of a continuous current, right? See, this is the case constant voltage charging cases, right? And the third category is a constant current and a constant voltage charging, right? This is also applicable in the battery charging technologies, right? Just we have to maintain the same amount of current and the same amount of voltage throughout the period, or we can stepping out, right? See, during 0 to 25%, how much current we have to apply, how much voltage we have to maintain it. Again, 25 to 50%, what amount of voltage we have to give it to the particular charging what is this batteries, and how much amount of current we have to decide it, right? With the help of artificial intelligence, just we have to sense what is the battery charging status, right? How much amount of how much percentage of battery it has to be charges. Depends on that, it will tune, it will given, it will generate the firing signals to the power electronic control devices. Accordingly, the voltage and the current which is given to the battery is going to be modified, right? See, by the way, we are going to do that constant current and the constant voltage charging schemes. This is called the CCCV. Okay, then the fourth category is a multi-stage charging, right? See, just now I told you that for a percentage state of capacity, the left hand side shows the graph of a state of capacity, right? How much amount, how much percentage of battery is charged. It may be a 25%, 50%, 75, or a 100%, right? So in that period, we are going to categorize, right? Even if we need a 10%, every 10% we can do it, right? For multi-stage, the charging scheme is going to be applied, and here for each and every stage we have to decide how much amount of current we are going to give it, how much amount of voltage we are going to give it. Then again, how whether the compare with that of previous stage one, how much percentage of voltage we are going to increases, how much percentage of current we are going to reduces, right? See, you may ask the question, sir, why do we need to increases the voltages? Why do we need to decreases the current and all, right? See, everything it is going to be implemented in order to enhance the lifetime period of the charging, right? See, lifetime period of the particular battery, right? See, as a owner of a particular electric vehicle, we are always concentrate about the battery and battery lifetime period, right? How much period the particular battery is going to be operated. Sorry. So here in multi-charging categories, when we look at 0 to 25%, current I1 is going to be flowing. During the period, voltage is slowly increasing, right? And again, 25 to 50%, what is this current I2 is to be reduced. It is not going to be the same with that of I1. But in that situation, what is this voltage is going to be increases. Voltage is going to be increases than the stage one. Like that, we are going to reduces I3, I4. So by the way, we have to ensure the conditions, right? See, what is the condition? Charging time is to be reduced. We have to enhance the battery life, and we are going to protect the battery, and more important, efficiency of the battery is also going to be improved, right? See, by the way, we are going to do it. See, in right hand side animation, you may notice that when we have a large current, what is this? Mainly it charges are flowing like way, right? Very more amount of free electrons is going to be derived, and for a small current, very lesser amount of current only flowing. Hope my animation is visible to all, right? Animation is visible now. Okay. Okay, then the next category is pulse charging, right? In that cases, again, with the help of our electronic circuit, just we are applying the pulses, right? See, that pulses, what is this? We are going to modify the initial pulse width. Everything's are going to be modified, right? See, if pulse width is going to be modified, automatically the effective voltages and effective current which is given to the particular battery is also going to be varied, right? See, pulse charging is also applicable in some of the cases, and they are going to satisfy the control algorithms, right? Okay, then trickling charges. Then the sixth category is trickling charges. What is this trickling charges? Charging a fully charged battery at a rate equal to its self-discharge rate, right? See, with the help of some sensors, they had to sense continuously how much percentage of charging is going to be discharged, right? At the same rate of discharging, they are going to charge it. They are going to charge it with the help of a closed loop control system.
Please fill it
Hello?
in due time. Thank
Sorry?
you all. Thank you.
Hello, I'm getting some voices from participant side. Hello? Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please continue.
Yeah.
Sir, audible, sir. Clean. Audible, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. I request all the participants kindly mute your mic. If you want to ask any questions, kindly unmute and arises, right? Instead, it will take some of the problem disturbances to the all participants and resource person too, right? Okay, then the next category is trickle charging. Charging a fully charged battery at a rate equal to its self-discharge rate, right? Just you have to consider the flow diagram. With the help of sensors, they are going to sense what is the discharge rate. At the same discharge rate, with the help of other power sources, the particular battery is going to be charged over that, right? See, this is called as a trickling charging, right? Hope you understand what is the trickling charging, and the graph also shows that constant charging. Constant charging means what is this? It will continuously charging, right? And for top-up charges, trickling charges, what is this? It will always maintain the charging percentages, right? Even running the vehicles too with the help of additional renewable energy sources like solar or even regenerative or ultra flywheel, ultra capacitors, we can charge the particular batteries, right? See, this is called as trickling charges. Okay, then when we look at the medium of charge transfer, the first category is conductive, right? With the help of wire, just we are going to charging the particular batteries of the electric vehicles, right? See here, the medium of charge transfer is conductive. This is the first category. When we look at the advantages of this conductive is it's a simple, it's a simplest one, and low cost. It has a low cost, and efficiency is also going to be improved. And but it is an inconvenient one, right? See, each and every time the particular electric vehicle is going to some charging stations, and with the help of charging, right? See, in previous slides, I explained to you that fast charging or normal charging and opportunity charging, by any one of them, they are going to charge it, right? See, this is inconvenient for the customer, those who are using electric vehicles, right? And the next drawback is it's a risk of electrocution too, right? See, because of conductive, what is this? It's a risk of electrocution, right? See, this is the first case of a medium of a charge transfer, right? Then the second case is a wireless charging, right? Instead of conductive wire, we are going to charge the electric vehicle with the wireless, right? Here again, the drawbacks of this case is it is inevitable power transfer loss. It is inevitable power transfer loss. Again, if you go for wireless charging mode, again we have to think over that transformers action, right? See, we know the transformer basic principle. What is this? Electrical circuits are separated from one another, right? See, primary winding and secondary windings are just separated electrically but magnetically coupled, right? With the help of some magnetic core, primary and secondary windings are going to be coupled, right? The same principle is going to be used for wireless charging cases too. But here, what is this? It has inevitable power transfer losses, right? The whole amount of power is not going to be transferred. It is not going to be transferred, or it is not going to be utilized for the charging the batteries, right? So here, inevitable power loss is going to be happen, and it requires high installation cost also be there, but it is very convenient for electric vehicle, and it is free from electrocution. Even if there is any electrical accident is going to happen, with the help of some precautionary circuits, it will be avoided, because electrically it is what is this? Electrically it is separated. Electric circuits are separated from charging stations and the device which are using in electrical vehicles. Okay, then under this wireless charging method, the first category is far-field strategies. What is this far-field strategies? It's normally used as higher frequency and higher power at long distances using the following techniques, right? See, normally for far-field strategies, they are going to use higher frequencies. Instead of 50 hertz frequency, they are going to use very higher frequencies in terms of kilohertz, and high power is going to be used at longer distances using the following techniques like microwave or laser radiation, but it is not recommended to electric vehicles. When we go for far field strategies, when we have to increase the higher frequencies and high power and all, again we have some other drawbacks like power losses. When we have to increase the frequencies, again we have to depend on the power electronic control circuits, right? See, with the help of power electronic devices, only we are going to increase the higher frequencies, and we are in a position to use a higher power, right? So in that cases, again, the ratings of each and every part of power electronic devices and charging stations, everything are going to be increases. So what is this? Not only with that, with the help of microwave or laser radiation, the electrical power is going to be transferred over that. Again, it won't be suitable. Again, it has a very higher power losses, so it is not recommended to electric vehicles. And okay, then the next category of wireless charging method is near field strategies, right? See, the medium of power transfer is very low, right, compared to that of previous cases, right? Under these categories, they are using the following two principles: capacitive, and another one is inductive. Normally for capacitive, low power applications they are using, right, just like normal operating principle of capacitors, right? See, charged particles are going to be separated with the two plates, and by charging and discharging, what is this? Electrostatic field is going to be stored and it is going to be transferred over that, right? But it is not going to be used for electric vehicles. For low power applications, we may use it, right? See, normally even some of the cases, some power compensations, what is this? Capacitors are going to be used. Capacitor is going to be support for some short span of time in power systems areas and all, but it is not going to be used to charging the electric vehicle, right? So instead we go for that inductive principles, inductive principles transfer, IPT. It is suitable for electric vehicle charging stations. Here that inductive principle is just like that of transformers operating principles, right? See, there are two windings, primary winding and secondary winding. There won't be any what is this? There won't be any interconnections in between the primary winding and the secondary winding. Similarly, there won't be any electrical what is this? Electrical medium in between coupler and inlet. We will keep some of the air gap, right? See, by the way, we are going to charge it, right? See, this diagram, it shows clearly, it gives that explanations how the particular electrical vehicle is going to be charged with the wireless charging method, right? See, from power grid, the AC power supply is going to be given into charger units. Here, the charger unit consists of the rectifier and inverter. Initially, it converts AC to DC. Then it is converting from DC to AC, right? And with the help of a coupler, the coupler is going to arrive the supply from the inverter. Now the coupler is going to be act as the primary winding of a transformer. Then the electric vehicle inlet is going to be act as the secondary winding. Here in between the primary and the secondary winding, there won't be any medium of power. What is this? There won't be any electrical connections, right? See, by the magnetic principle, we know that if flux changes in one coil, that will link with another coil, and the flux is rate of change of fluxes. It will, what is this, automatically it induces the EMF. Again, that EMF is a AC alternating quantity, and with the help of rectifier, again the particular AC is going to be converted into DC. Again, that particular DC is not going to give it to battery. Instead, it will again given into converter. The converter is going to modify it. Actually, in this case, in this situation, again we are going to increase the frequencies too, right? So with the help of inverter, they are modifying the frequency so that it have a very higher rate of what is this? Very higher ratings of frequencies, and we know that transformer is not going to it is not going to increases or reduces the frequency. It will maintain the same frequency. So what is the frequency of the primary winding? The same frequency is going to be generated in secondary windings too, but in the but the same higher frequency is not going to be used for batteries, right? So again, one more converter is required to control the frequency level too, and again it will be given into battery, right? So by the way, the batteries which are used in electrical vehicle is going to be charged in near field strategies. Okay, then another case is a wireless charging method, that is inductive power transfer, IPT. Normally it is uses in park and charging stations. Normally the primary winding is placed in the ground level, and the secondary winding is placed in the car bottom, electric vehicle bottom side, right? See, in between these two windings there will be some magnetic flux linkages, and by the principle of transformer, what is this? The charging current is going to be taken place, and with the help of charging, what is this? Again, EMF is going to be induced, and it will be rectified, and with the help of controller, it's fine tuned. After that, particular battery which are available in electric vehicle is going to charges over that, right? See, this is inductive power transfer mode, and normally they are going to use it in park and charge, right? Okay, then the next category is under the medium of charge transfer is wireless charging method. This is inductive power transfer, move and charge. Even the particular vehicle is not going to be charged while at a rest position, right? Even at a running position too, the particular vehicle is going to be charged over that, right? See, in that situation, all over the entire road path, power transmitter is going to be placed, right? Power transmitter is going to be placed, and with the help of artificial intelligence, we can sense what is the speed of a particular electrical vehicle, and based on the speed of the electrical vehicle, what is this? With the help of artificial intelligence, we are going to give the charging the primary winding of a roadside, right? See, here the duty of artificial intelligence at particular at which time period the primary winding along with the road is going to be charged over that, right? See, unnecessarily, if you are see, just you have to consider, if you have to charge entire primary windings of roadside, what is this? It is not going to be utilized, right? See, this is the role of artificial intelligence. They have to sense what is the speed of a particular car, and what is the velocity, and what about the charging discharging rate of particular electrical vehicle. Everything are going to be sensed and it is stored in the cloud. From the cloud we are going to operate it. We are going to given the appropriate control signals to the primary winding, which are placed in entire road path for 3 kilometer, 4 kilometer path, and they are perfectly aligned with the secondary windings which are placed in the car, right? So here, if a perfect alignment is there, means what is this? Power is exactly transferred over to electric vehicle secondary winding, and again with the help of what is this transformer operating principle, the particular electrical vehicle batteries are going to be charged over that, right? So along the roadway, the power transmitters are going to be placed and the electrical vehicle is going to be charged over that, right? See, in that situation, as a passenger, we are not going to wait at the charging stations and all, right? Even while we moving the electrical vehicle, the particular vehicle is going to be charged over that, right? Hope you understand what I'm explaining, right? Okay, then the next category is electrical vehicles to vehicle to grid, right? See here, the both the cases it's applicable, right? See, normally when we look at some 10 to 15 years back, what is this? With the help of solar, we are going to generate the electricity and we are going to utilize it, right? See, for a particular home, when we use some solar panels and all, what is this? Just we have to generate and utilize in home alone. But nowadays it's not going to be that, right? See, even our college case, Rangasamy College of Technology, we have a solar power plant in entire campus of our college campus, and with the help of solar panel, we are generating the electrical power up to and I know the ratings of solar panel is 800 kilovolt, right? Sorry, 800 kilowatts, right? See, that electrical power, some part of the electrical power is utilizing the entire campus, and remaining power is going to be what is this? Given to grid, right? So as per that, technology is improving, researches are going on, right? So as per these cases, even the electrical vehicles is not only going to get the electrical power from the grid, right? Even some of the cases, electrical vehicle is also going to given back the power supply to grid, right? This is called as a vehicle to grid. Electrical vehicles for vehicle to grid and a grid to vehicle. In both the cases, it's applicable, right? See, the first category, GHEV, right? Grid hybrid electrical vehicle. Grid hybrid electrical vehicle. From the name itself, we know that hybrid electric vehicle means it has more than one engine. One of the engine is going to what is this, electrical motor, and another one of the engine is internal combustion engine. With the help of fuel, what is this, IC engine is going to be running. The IC engine is going to be functioning, and with the help of electricity, what is this, electrical motor is going to be run, right? With the help of two drive, what is this, our electrical vehicle is going to transfer over that, right? So in that situation, the electrical power is not only given from power grid to electrical vehicle. Suppose if the electrical vehicle have a surplus amount of electrical power, that electrical power is also returned back to grid, right? This is the first category, and the second category is battery electric vehicles. In that battery electric vehicles, there won't be any IC engines, right? That battery electrical vehicle is also going to be both ways, right? Power transferred from grid to vehicle, and sometimes vehicle to grid is also possible, right? Then fuel cell also be there. With the help of fuel cell, hydrogen and oxygen molecules are going to be separated out, and vehicle is going to be run. In that situation, if the particular electrical vehicle has a surplus amount of electrical power, with the help of a fuel cell, that electrical power is also returned back to grid, right? See, this is the diagram. It shows how the electrical vehicles are going to be used as the power transfer medium in 2030, 2035 and all, right? Definitely in the period of 2030, 2035, some portion of electrical power is going to be returned back to electrical grid with the help of solar. If the particular vehicle is going to be charged in maximum condition, and the particular vehicle has surplus amount of electrical power, what is this? It is going to be returned to grid, right? See, this is the case of electrical vehicles for vehicle to grid. And V2X stands for both the way, right? V2X system framework. Right here, the same cases from the solar. What is this? From the sunlight, we are obtaining the electrical power with the help of solar. That electrical power is going to be transmitted to electrical grid, right? Even not only with the solar, wind power, any coal, whatever may be that, we are obtaining the electrical power which will be transmitted through the transmission line, and from the transmission line we are obtaining the electricity from the houses or any domestic appliances and all, right? From that houses we are obtaining the electricity, and that electricity is going to be used to charge the vehicles, right? Here the vehicle is going to charging with the help of electrical power and discharging, and what is this? Then again, the particular vehicle has surplus amount of electrical power. The power is going to be returned back to home, right? And vehicle to vehicle is also possible, right? Vehicle to vehicle. Suppose if you have two number of vehicles, one of the vehicle have more amount of power, that electrical power is also going to be shared with that of another vehicle. This is also going to be implemented in future. Now, at present, there won't be any power transfer in between vehicle to vehicle and vehicle to grid and all, but plenty of research work is going on. So soon, within 10 to 15 years, definitely power is going to be transferred vehicle to vehicle. It's also possible, and vehicle to grid also going to be possible, right? See, this diagram shows how the V2X system framework. Okay, then when we look at the battery management system, actually in battery management system, the central processor is going to access the following parameters. What is the voltage, what is the current, what is the temperature of the particular battery cells, right? The cell battery information is given into central processor unit. The central processor unit has to obtain the what is the voltage of the particular battery, right? See, not only what is this, the voltage level, current taken, current discharging current, or even charging current, everything are going to be continuously monitored with the help of measurements which are available in battery management system. That information given into central processing unit, right? With the measured values of voltage, current, and temperature, easily we can access what is the state of capacity, state of health. We can easily identify. Normally, the state of capacity is going to be determined with the ratio of RC to FC. Where RC is the remaining charge capacity and FC is the full charge capacity, right? See, when we procure the particular battery, we know what is the full charge capacity, what is the original full charge capacity and all, right? See, that information is fed into central processor unit. So the central processor unit notice what is the full charge capacity and what is the remaining charge available, and what about the speed of the electrical vehicle. This is also going to be this is also going to be fed in the central processor unit, and the central processor unit is going to operate, is going to process the with the help of artificial intelligence, then it is going to give the outputs, right? How long the particular electrical vehicle is going to be moved, and what about the accelerating power. When we have to use that much amount of accelerating power, how many kilometers the particular electrical vehicle is going to move, right? Everything are going to be analyzed and visualized in electrical vehicle. Not only that, what is the health of the particular battery, right? How long the particular battery is going to be used, right? How long, see, for each and every battery, they have certain types of age period, right? We are not going to use more than 10 years and all, right? Even you may see that the batteries which are used in household appliances like UPS inverters battery and all, right? See, for each and every 10 years we are going to replace it, or otherwise we are going to modify the cell and liquids and all, right? Nowadays lithium batteries come into the picture. It will rectify most of the problems arises in the normal batteries like lead acid batteries, right? So here in that battery management system, they had to analyze, they had to retrieve the data from all the sensoring units, and they had to process it, how long the particular battery is going to be used, and what about the accelerating power. Everything are going to be calculated, and it will be visualized in the dashboard, right? Normally it states state of capacity. Normally the state of capacity is going to be determined with the ratio of remaining charge capacity to full charge capacity, and state of health is going to be determined with the full charge capacity to original full charged capacity. Normally when the battery is a fresh one, the full charged capacity is equal to original full charged capacity, right? But if the particular battery is going to be used for more than 1 year or 2 years, the particular battery is not going to be charged fully, right? That instead of that, it will charge only some 98% of full charged capacity, right? This is it shows what is the health of the particular battery at a particular time period. What is this? It is not going to be charged at all, right? It will be charged even if I had to use some of the control devices and voltage, very higher ratings of current. It will charge only 60% of battery or 75% of batteries, right? See, it indicates the health of the battery, just like a normal human being, right? See, at the age of 85 and 90 plus and all, as a human being, they are not going to do any much amount of work, right? See, this is the lifetime. This is the life of our entire things, right? See, even batteries also be there some ages, right? So that will indicate what is the state of the health and what about the power demand, right? See, if I had to predefine the particular distance, if I had to cross over with the help of electrical vehicle, then with the help of analyzing voltage, current, and temperature, it will give the input how much amount of battery is there, and when we have to charging, and again at what methodology we are going to use it, whether it may be a fast charging mode or opportunity charging mode, and everything are going to be visualized with the help of battery management systems. And not only that, it will give the thermal management, what is the temperature, and if it requires additional cooling, everything are going to be analyzed and it will be triggered with the help of central processor. So by the way, we are going to manage the particular battery which are used in the electrical vehicles. Okay, then when we look at the Internet of Things in electrical vehicles, see normally nowadays people are using IoT applications in all the cases, right? Even in electrical vehicles too, IoT is going to play a major role in forthcoming years, right? See, normally IoT is a IoT enabling technologies. So the hardware and the software platforms of IoT applications are going to be use it, right? See, in cloud, every data is going to be stored, right? All the data related with that of any applications are stored in the cloud, and the people has to store the data and retrieve the data according to our applications. Artificial intelligence has to analyze and give the appropriate values. This is the simplest explanations about IoT. When we look at the IoT in electrical vehicles, role of IoT in electrical vehicles, what is this actually in the year of 1911? 1911 year, they have used only electric starters, right? See, normally they have used only electric starters, and in the year of 1985, compact disc players are placed in the vehicles, right? IC engines, they have placed the compact disc players, and in 1994 dashboard computer diagnostic system are going to be used, right? That dashboard computer diagnostic system that indicates what is the speed, what is how many kilometers they have traveled, and what about the fuel availability of the particular IC engines, and even sometimes they notice that how long they are going to run with the help of availability of fuel, right? See, in 1995, GPS navigation systems placed in the placed in the normal car, right? See, with the help of GPS navigation systems, we can notice where is our car, right? Actually, at present, where is our car, and even we can analyze what speed the particular vehicle is going to run with the help of GPS navigation systems. These are all the data we can analyze it, right? In the year of 2000, Bluetooth and Bluetooth, USB and Bluetooth connectivities are going to be implemented in the vehicles. And in the year 2021, 94 million connected cars to ships with the help of IoTs, right? Okay. See, when we look at the role of IoT in electrical vehicles, for basically for battery backup, the parameters like voltage, current, state of charge, state of health, temperature are going to be given into the hardware architecture. Here the software where normally use it as TCP/IP to data acquisition systems are going to be used, and for battery management system, conditioning and communication systems are going to be analyzed, and every data are going to be stored in the cloud, right? From the cloud, vehicle instrument cluster, data flow, IoT hub, they are going to implement the IoT, and with the help of IoT, the electrical vehicles are going to be operated, right? See, normally the data which are stored in the clouds are stored power measurement, handle of electric vehicle profile, at what period the particular electrical vehicle is procured, and what is the duration, and what is the speed of the particular vehicle. Everything are going to be sensed, right? Manage power limitations, optimize power usage, cost, manage power financial transactions, dashboards, everything are going to be there, right? See, in our aspiration web server management unit, they are going to do the IoTs, right? See, mobile access to device operations. Even nowadays, with the help of IoT, with the help of mobile, even we can start the electrical vehicle. Even we can notice how much amount of fuels are there, how long the particular vehicle is going to be moved, and around the particular place, there are the charging stations available in electrical vehicle, and even the crowd of a particular charging station itself, we can notice with the help of a mobile phone, right? So these are all the role of IoT in electric vehicles. Thank you. Now I request the participants, if you have any questions, kindly ask me. I will clarify as per the knowledge I have. Hello. See, in this session, I have explained charging technologies, normal charging, opportunity charging, fast charging, and all. What are the differences? What about the voltage they have used, and what are the limitations, advantages of each and every category, and medium of charging. I explained wireless with wire mode and wireless mode of operations. I explained that, and finally I explained the battery management systems and IoT role of IoT in electric vehicles. Right? Is there any questions from participant side? Otherwise, I will conclude the session. As a coordinator of 5-day Atal FDP program, I thank all the participants for your passion listening, and frequently our team member given frequent informations guidelines to you, and WhatsApp group also be there. Kindly connect with them, and kindly don't forget to post the feedback and all, right? See your feedback, and attendance is very important. And again, I repeatedly told that as a participant, if you are going to, if you wish to get Atal certificate, you are in a position to obtain 80% of attendance. Almost 14 sessions we have planned up. So all put together, you have to maintain 80% of attendance, and more than 60% of assessment marks, which are going to be conducted at the end of the day, right? Then only, and in addition, you are in a position to fill the feedback in AICTE web portal too, right? This is also mandatory to
Hello,
get
sir.
the certificates.
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes.
Sir, attendance in the form of feedback form or attendance are separate?
Feedback form is separate. See, we are giving some
sir,
feedback
actually,
form. In addition with that, AICTE is also going to, in AICTE web portal, you are going to give the feedback form. For that, AICTE will send separate intimation to you by mail.
I don't know how to fill the attendance, sir.
You are not going to fill any attendance. We will
I will
post
just
it.
attend.
Right? See, once you have joined in MS Team, we will download the attendance. Right? See, from that downloaded attendance part, we will know who are all attended the particular session. Right? We will post it.
Yes.
Right? Only that thing you have to attend the session. Right? And you have to maintain 80% of attendance. That's all. You are not going to post any attendance. We faculty, we will post it day by day, right? Every day we are posting the attendance in AICTE web portal, and in addition with that, MS Team downloaded attendance form is also going to be uploaded, right?
Okay, sir. Sir, what about the algorithm you have mentioned? Algorithm of charging system?
Sir, actually, with the help of artificial intelligence techniques, we are going to write the algorithm, and we have to consider the for those cases, right? See, the charging efficiency should be higher. What is this? Protection must be ensured, and the lifetime period of the battery is also going to be ensured. With this constraint, we are going to write the algorithm and generate the firing signals to power electronic controllers, right?
Which parameter, sir? Excuse me, sir. Which parameter is important while deciding the algorithm of battery?
All the parameters are important. Voltage and current. Both are important. With the help of voltage and current only, we are going to charge the battery, right? Only that thing, how much amount of voltage we are going to maintain at particular, at what period, right? It may be 0 to 25% of charging period, or 25 to 30% of charging period. And not only with that, what is our requirement, whether we have to go for fast charging methodology or opportunity charging methodology, right? So under these categories, everything are going to be modified. But when we have to write the algorithm, charging algorithm, we have to satisfy the constraints, right? See, the constraints are generally these things. We have to ensure the battery life. So in that situation, what is this? We are not going to apply always very higher ratings of current, right? We have to apply some appropriate higher ratings of current at appropriate time. With the help of artificial intelligence, we are going to write it. Based on this, it will generate the firing signals. Accordingly, the power converters is going to fine tune the voltages and current which is given into batteries. Hope you understand.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hope there is no further questions from participant side. Thank you, one and all. Over to MOC.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your expertise in the field of energy source and their challenges in electric vehicles. And we are delighted to have a glimpse of topic from you. We could like to inform that the next section will start around 3 p.m. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.